Okay, what's up, guys? I'm going to tell you guys a story that God told me that honestly had me a little bit conflicted. And the reason this story had me, well, I guess I'll tell the story. Okay, so this guy was like a rich, powerful guy, and he wanted a son. So obviously he tried to have a son, and God gave this guy a daughter. So eventually this guy cast his daughter away. Like, I'm not sure if he killed her. I can't remember the story. If he killed her or whatever. It's an older time. But he cast his daughter away. So God keeps trying. And guess what God does? God gives him a daughter again. And then he keeps giving him a daughter over and over again. And I remember when I was hearing this story, I'm thinking to myself, why wouldn't God just give him what he wants? That would solve the problem, right? In my mind, right? That's my thinking. Just give people what they want. That'll solve the problem. And this is the problem with my thinking, right? This is why it conflicted me, is because I'm a human. And I see it from the worldly perspective, right? We want what we want. And if we get what we want, everyone's good. But from God's perspective, God is working it. Because I remember when he told me the story, he said that the reason why he was doing this, it was hoping that he was going to correct something, right? And obviously the guy wasn't learning from his mistake. He kept making the same mistake, right? Because he want what he wanted, right? So the reason why I'm telling you this story is more times than not, most of us reject God or we hate God. And it's mostly because we don't submit our will to God. And what I mean by submit our will is we're thinking, this is what I want. If God does not give it to me, he does not love me. People have to remember God has planned. He created you. If you created something, maybe it's a machine or something, it doesn't do what it was supposed to do as it was created, something's wrong with it, okay? So if God created you and he's a loving God and he's a good God, and you're not having faith in the creator, you're hurting yourself, because everything that you think you want may not be good for you. That's why you submit yourself to God. You submit yourself to God because you trust him to give you all the good things he's already has planned for you, giving you a life that was already designed for you. It's going to be easy for you because the plan God has for you is one that suits the way you live or how you were created. This is the best way to put that. But again, our wants override God. And that's what I think the story is trying to get at. This guy had everything, like the guy and the rich guy in the story. But he wanted this son, and no matter what, he would commit atrocities. I can't remember if he killed the daughters or what, but regardless, it's still an atrocity. He threw his kids away just because he wanted a son. He wanted it that bad, okay? So he, in some sense, forsaken God because he wasn't listening. He wouldn't open his heart up. He wouldn't soften his heart. His heart was hard because he wanted what he wanted. And some of us will side with the devil unconsciously, not knowing this, because we want what we want. We don't feel God loves us or is giving us what we want. It's not that God doesn't love us. It's we are ignoring God. We ignore God. We think we know what's best. That's what it comes down to. No one takes a minute, because like most people, I tried Christianity. No, you didn't. You went to church. You might have read a few, but you never tried. When I asked God, when I told God I was going to try, I said, I don't care if it takes me 30 years. And the reason why I said 30 years is because I didn't know how long it was going to take. I had faith. All these people are saying it. They have the scriptures. And I understood it somewhat lined up how I felt. So I was like, let me try this. You know, I put my money on him. I put my life on God. And then he revealed himself to me because he knew I was taking him seriously. I wasn't capping. I wasn't going to church and acting like everyone else. I was doing it by myself, like with me, like I was being real. And a lot of people aren't like that. Most people, they don't truly open themselves up as them. They still try to please the masses. They still try to plead the congregation. They're still trying to plead everybody around them and act a certain way instead of trying to be in relationship with God. Or, you know, I guess being in relationship is good. You start submitting once you get to know God better. When you start being able to trust them more, that's when the submission comes a little bit easier. But that's what I think a lot of Christians do. They don't read the Bible for themselves. They let someone else teach them, which isn't a bad thing. You should hear from people, but you have to, this is your journey, not mine. You know, I have my own. It's good that you listen to me because God's the one that tells me to speak, but the reality is, this is your walk. You know what I'm saying? You have to go out there and do your own homework. I can't do it for you. And we aren't the same person. I'm created a particular way, and you're created a particular way. We have the same God. Jesus Christ is God. The Trinity is true. That's 100%. Christianity is the truth. No other religion, by the way. So if we butt heads on that, then we gotta sit down and talk. But everything else, how you make it to God, how you communicate with God, you won't ever hear me argue to you unless how we communicate to God is saying totally different things. They gotta link up. And in my life, I've met people who talk to God, and then obviously I talk to God, and we've linked up, and God is saying the same thing. Like that's one of my biggest proofs in my life, is having multiple people come together and say, "Oh, we talked to God," and then He confirms everything this person's saying. Everyone together is saying. He's confirming it, and not only is He confirming it in that moment, He can confirm it. We can confirm it from stories that were told from the past to the point we meet, and they all ring true. Now, is all of our relationships the same with God? Do we all have the same faith dynamic? No. Everyone that I'm around, I have the most faith. I'm just not as worldly as everyone, and I will say that's attributed by God and how I was created. So I want you guys to really understand, like, life. If you look at life, you go outside. Like, I'm outside all the time, and I love the outdoors because I feel mostly connected to God outside. Life was always supposed to be easy. The reason why life is hard is because we stop seeking God, and then there's people that have gifts, that have the power to do what I do, and they don't do it. They don't teach their kids about God. They don't really try to get them connected. They don't do the things that they were told to do. And how I know is because, like I said, I met someone who has an amazing gift, and they don't even listen to God. They ignore Him. And God is so good. God didn't just, I told God, I was like, slap this person. And God doesn't slap this person. God's taking His time with this person. And I love that. When I see God at work with people, I'm hard. I'm like, yo, slap the taste out of this person's mouth. And God's like, no, I'm going to take my time with this person. Because me, I notice how, if this person's not doing what this person is told, it affects other people. Like, if they're not obeying God. So to me, it's like this person's hurting everyone. So I'm like, you gotta wake this person up. But God knows a hard hand for that person at this time isn't gonna do anything. So He's taking the soft approach because God knows everything. I'm telling you, when you really get to know God and you get closer to Him, you really start trying to seek Him. Like when it talks about in the Bible, seek God and He will answer, it's true. But you truly have to seek Him. You can't say, if you can't make a prayer and be like, I'll make this prayer, and if He doesn't answer, I'm out. That's not gonna happen. You have to come humble. Sometimes you have to come on your hands and knees. You have to come, like, you really have to come. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, when you come to God, you have to believe it. Like, think about it. Say you lost everything and you fall face down. Are you gonna just cry and act like God doesn't exist? No. I mean, if you do that, nothing's gonna more than likely nothing can happen, right? But if you truly lost everything and you truly cry out to God, I can't say 100%, right? Because I don't know. I can't speak for him, but I would say 100%. I would say, in my view, though, I would say He would answer. God answers. I don't know about anybody else. To me, He answers when you truly want it. And I think the problem with people is a lot of people don't truly want it. They say they do, and then they move a different type of way.